Hi everyone, I hope all is well. This is not a regular schmegular degular kind of thing, but I just want to take some time to express some things. I'm not going to be on this thing that long because I do have an early day tomorrow. So I just want to be real quick with this. So this week has been very tumultuous. I don't think that's the right word. Maybe just it was a lot for us. It was very traumatic for us. Wednesday, January 6th, our democracy was under assault. The U.S. Capitol was trespassed. People trespassed the U.S. Capitol. White domestic terrorists, because let's call them out for who they are, and basically try to kill our current outgoing, I guess he's a vice president, and our speaker, our House Speaker, and a few other congressmen and women, and our senators, our U.S. sitting senators, including the vice president-elect, who was all at Capitol Hill that day. Because it was supposed to be a ceremonial day where you're supposed to certify the elections, which is the peaceful transfer of power. But with this current occupant, that was not going to go down. But black people warned you about this 5 years ago, including myself. And people that were from New York and New Jersey who voted against Donald Trump back in 2016 and 2020 told the country about this man if he was ever to run for office. And look where we are. People were attacked. But now the GOP, it's almost Monday, and now they're calling for unity. After the House of Representatives, the Democrats in the House, are drawing up articles and announcing it tomorrow to impeach Donald Trump once again. Because invoking the 25th Amendment will be very, I can't explain it because there were so many moving parts and so many layers to actually invoke the 25th Amendment. But that will take forever. And by the time that happens, Donald Trump will already be out of office because January 20th, that is next Wednesday, he'll be gone. But with these 10 days or 9 days that he's in there, he is going to cause a lot of, it's gonna be hell. He has the code to our nuclear weapons. Hey, Elizabeth. He has the codes. Yes, his social media has been taken away because that's another thing that happened. All social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Parler is off, and some other, I think YouTube, a lot of his channels are gone. So, a lot of his social media is gone. So Donald Trump is acting like a crazy person. He also turned on Michael Richard Pence, which I knew that was going to happen. And he's just unhinged, as Nancy Pelosi said tonight. He's unhinged and he's deranged. But once again, black people and people from New York and New Jersey told you so. And y'all didn't listen. Oh, and I can't forget about Southern Connecticut too, because they told you as well. We all told you. Nobody listened to us. But the GOP, once again, I'm about to explain about them, is calling for unity. So I think there's some tweets here to explain about them, because there's something else, man. So you have Chris Christie, who was the former governor of New Jersey. And I guess he said something about impeachment. So he said, if inciting to insurrect... No, he said something else about the attacks. He said, if inciting to insurrection isn't an impeachable offense, then I don't know really what is. So I guess he's calling for his impeachment. That's okay. So he's basically calling for his impeachment. I guess he has a change of heart all of a sudden. Pat Toomey is another one. is calling for removal, but there's some that is calling for unity. Pat Toomey supports impeachment of Donald Trump. Okay. And then you got Kevin McCarthy, who's actually calling for unity. Which I don't even understand why. But I think he has a statement out somewhere. So, this is one of his tweets. For nearly 16 years, Capitol Police Officer Howard Lynn-Bingood honorably carried out his duty of protecting the halls of Congress. Judy and I are praying for the family and the entire Capitol Hill community for as we grieve his loss, blah, 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 blah. But he has some other tweets, too. This is his statement about impeaching the president. So here we go. This is interesting. A statement from House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. Let me be clear. The violence, destruction, and chaos that unfolded at the Capitol on Wednesday was unacceptable, undemocratic, and un-American. When I spoke to the president on Wednesday, I told him he had a great responsibility to intervene to quell the mob and start the healing process for our country. Over the coming weeks, we will work with law enforcement to bring anyone responsible for the violence to justice. Lawlessness and extremism has no place in our way of life. But you are part of the Tea Party. Okay. Our country is not divided. Is not just divided. We are deeply hurt. The task ahead for the next Congress and an incoming Biden administration couldn't be more monumentous. Always my speech. But to deliver a better America for all, partisans of all stripes first must unite as Americans and show our country that a peaceful transfer of power has occurred. Impeaching the president with just 12 days left of his term will only divide our country more. I have reached out to the President-elect Biden today and plan to speak to him about how he must work together to lower the temperature and unite the country to solve America's challenges. The coronavirus is still coursing through our communities. Businesses and workers are facing unprecedented stress, and children are falling behind. Threats from adversities such as Russia, China, and Iran are increasing. As leaders, we must call on our better angels and refocus our efforts on working directly for the American people. United, we can deliver the peace, strength, and prosperity of our country needs. Divided, we will fall. Each passing day will offer us an opportunity to heal and grow stronger and responsibility from which we cannot shrink. The United States remains exceptional and extraordinary, and in the coming weeks and months, we must work to recharge the light of our shining city on a hill. Kevin McCarthy's statement, Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's statement was bullshit. Healing, impeaching Donald Trump will divide the country. The country is already divided. Wednesday was an example of what has happened when Donald Trump was elected in office. It was the folks like Kevin McCarthy and Paul Ryan, when Paul Ryan was the House Speaker then. Stood quiet, said nothing about Donald Trump's behavior. They absolutely said not a damn word. And now all of a sudden, since this happened, you want to unify the country so we can heal and work for our better angels? Motherfucker, please. Nobody got time for that bullshit. You played footsie with Donald Trump for 4 years, was passing all of his horrible ass agendas in the House and even in the Senate, and you want us to unify? Man, please, suck a dick, okay? So Kevin McCarthy can shove that statement so far up his ass. Then you have, I'm going to get to the GOP senators. You have Roy Blunt. So let's turn to Roy Blunt. So they say like Roy Blunt calls Trump's actions clearly reckless, but he says on CBS he won't call for Trump to resign. My view is what the president should do is finish the last 10 days of his presidency. The president touched the hot stone on Wednesday and is unlikely to touch it again. That sounds like Susan Collins said that Donald Trump learned his lesson. Yeah, all right. Susan Collins, did she say anything? Oh, Susan Collins said nothing. She's been mute. But after impeachment, she said this. I believe that the president has learned his lesson from this case, and I believe that he will be much more cautious in the future. That was last year during the impeachment. Did he learn his lesson, Susan? Susan. Susan. Did he learn his lesson? Did Donald John, saying his name wrong, did Donald John Trump learn his lesson? Susan. Paging Susan Collins. Susan from Maine. Did Donald John Trump learn his lesson? Obviously, a year later, we had an attack on Capitol Hill. That's what happened. Pat Toomey. All of a sudden you have an epiphany that you want to oh, let me say your name before I get to it. Patrick Joseph Toomey Jr. Mr. Patrick Joseph Toomey. I almost forgot to say your name. Pat Toomey. You have an epiphany all of a sudden? Saying that the president should resign? So I have a question for Patrick Joseph Toomey Jr., also known as Pat Toomey. So since you want Donald Trump to resign, where was that energy last year when y'all had the chance to impeach Donald Trump? When there was clear evidence that he abused his power and obstructed justice when he withheld military funds for Ukraine that was allocated by Congress. Where was that energy? All the evidence was presented. And what did you and 51 other Republicans done? Y'all acquitted the president. Y'all acquitted Donald Trump from all those crimes. Now all of a sudden you have an epiphany. You want to impeach him? Patrick, please. You're doing this to save face, but I'm so glad you're not running for senator back in 2022, so you're doing all of this now to save face. No, we will still remember that you voted for Trump. You voted for all of his bigoted ass policies, and you stayed quiet with all of the racist things he have done. Circling back from when he said there were both people, well, good people on both sides. So Patrick, miss me with the bullshit. Benjamin Eric Sass is another one who wants to all of a sudden take his moderate position in the Republican Party. This is rotten to the core. I still remember that. What's rotten to the core was you turning a blind eye when he snatched kids from their parents at the border. That's turning a blind eye. Also, when he said there were good people on both sides, including racists. And another thing is when he said people that came from African nations and Haiti, shithole countries, calling their countries shithole countries. That wasn't rotten to the core. Benjamin, shut the hell up. And then you got Lindsay Olin Graham. The example of the invasion of the body snatchers. Who was against Trump back in 2016, but then was riding on his coattails for the last 4 years. And now all of this happened. We need to acknowledge that Joe Biden is the president of the United States, the president-elect. And Kamala Harris is the vice president-elect. He wasn't saying that shit a couple of weeks ago. Where are you, Lindsay? Oh, Lindsay. Low country from South Carolina. You a hot mess, Lindsay. Like, you dead ass, like, I don't know what's wrong with you. People were giving you the benefit of a doubt. Me, I try to slightly give you a little teeny bit of respect, even though I am not for Republicans. So let's get that straight. But after the way you were caping for Donald Trump, I will never look at you the same, bruh. That's why Jamie was running against you, because he knew you did a complete 360 and now you're trying to do a 180 gymnastics backflip. Man, please. And then you got Addison Mitchell McConnell Jr., who's also trying to save face. even though his wife is losing her job. Well, she actually resigned, but she was losing her job anyway. We need to heal the country. We need to acknowledge that Joe Biden is the president-elect. Where was that energy? For the last 5 years and some change, Mitch McConnell has obstructed, has vilified the Senate, debased the integrity of the Senate, and just basically just let people like me suffer. So I don't believe nothing that Addison says. He is the worst Senate Majority Leader ever. Not talking about just from the Republican side, but ever. He is the worst. He will go down in history as the worst Senate Majority Leader. That Senate is so divided, heavily partisan, that Chuck Schumer going to have to clean up the mess that Mitch McConnell has created. The culture and the environment in the Senate it's bad. It's disgusting. So I'm glad Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff is in the Senate, because there will actually be some goddamn integrity. So Addison, I don't care who calls you a hero, but you no goddamn hero. And then you got Ronald Harold Johnson, also known as Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who still is going on about this election fraudulent bullshit, who got so much smoke for Hunter Biden, which Hunter Biden don't even know you. You should be expelled from the Senate along with your fellow colleagues like Joshua David Hawley and Rafael Edward Cruz, because you're part of the reason why there was an impeachment on Donald Trump. So Ronald, you're not low. You're not low, buddy. And you're not getting away. Well, that's enough on the GOP. Let's talk about the I'm not even going to get into the white moderates because I already addressed them. I already established I don't like them. On the Democrat side, I don't like Tim Ryan. I don't like Zeph Moulton. I don't like Kathleen Rice. I don't like Abigail Spanberger. I don't really care for Mikey Sherrill. Not too much of Connor Lamb. I really don't care about them. So they non-factors to me. So, boop, boop. But there is the white leftists. One felt the need to attack me. So let me just do this real quick because it is 12:08. And felt like it was in a duty, felt like it was okay to do so. So I tweeted one day ago that, let me be clear, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren will not be Senate Majority Leader, period. And they won't, because one, Bernie Sanders caucused with the Democrats. He's not a full-fledged Democrat. And Elizabeth Warren is already in Senate leadership, which is true because she is the vice chairwoman of the Democratic Senate caucus. So here goes this guy named, I think his name is Brett Bantelli, whatever the fuck his name is. He said, I realize this is a troll tweet, but Bernie Sanders being in charge of the budget reconciliation process in a Senate without filibuster reform makes him a hell of a lot closer to being a Senate Majority Leader than the other 48 non-Schumer Democrats And people gotta understand that. The man deserves more songs. And then he goes on saying, let me be clear, the only reason Bernie Sanders is so powerful because Manchin won't vote to reform the filibuster. He's giving Bernie power over the two biggest bills of 2021 and the only big bill in 2022. So this is what he tried to say to me. He tried to school me. So this is what I said to him. I find it very interesting a white man referring to my tweet as a troll tweet. This is why I detest white progressive men. They will never be my ally. And then he comments because he couldn't quote my tweet. See, this is where you're wrong. I will always be an ally with any non-white right-wing positioning. You didn't say black people. You didn't say brown people. You say, I will always ally with any non-right-wing positioning. Like, dude. I said, you call my tweet a troll tweet. That was extremely disrespectful. Unfortunately, you don't know any better because you just don't. And I said, you should not talk to any black woman in that way. He said nothing. He said nothing because you had nothing to say. Nothing to say. And that's why I will have a problem with white leftist men. Not all, but most. Because of shit like that. Like, you think it's okay to police black women? Because y'all know so much? They're always trying to rewrite and revise history. The truth is the most progressive ones are black people. We are the ones that came up with all these progressive reforms. And what was happening? No one wasn't paying attention. So when white people came out with the same thing, people found it to be progressive and cool. That Christopher Columbus and shit that I don't like. I'm so sick of them with this bullshit. Who is progressive and who is not? The truth is, progressivism is about promoting social change, and these motherfuckers don't. Medicare for all and the Green New Deal doesn't cut it. There's so much more to progressive platforms besides Medicare for all and the Green New Deal. There's more to it. Those two are just not the only social reforms. So let's cut the bullshit right there. Y'all don't talk about extending after school. You don't talk about extending stuff like WIC, to kids of 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe 10 or 12. You don't talk about getting free uniforms or school choice. If kids will go to school in this area or that area. You guys don't talk about any more financial stuff besides universal basic income. There's so much more layers to that bullshit because y'all talk about universal basic income, but there's a systemic problem with that too, because who's to say my white counterpart will get more than me? No, the problem is you motherfuckers don't want to address systemic issues and address racism. That's what your fucking problem is. And that's why I will always have problems with the ilk of the Bernie crew, more so the white ones versus some of these black ones, because they are a mess too, but most of the white men. So don't at me with the bullshit. But I'm going to end this right here. Please stay alert to know what's going on and stay tuned to this week because this is going to be one hell of a 10 days. And I'll just leave it as that.